I've got two series ideas, which one should I pick? How about both at the same time? That should do the trick. 22 full years of questing, no breaks or death, this will be fun. RuneScape 3 Hardcore Ultimate Ironman, questing through 2001. Welcome back to April 6th, 2001. We finally finished all 4 quests released with Asgarnia last time. So we are free to move on to the next updates. We got a big one coming, but before we get there, we have a few smaller bits that we need to go through. On May 1st, 2001, there was a change to how monster drops worked. You're now allowed to see your drops for 1 minute before other people can see them. So, potentially, before this update, everyone could see the drops at the same time? Question mark? Or there was a much shorter delay? And how this worked for PvP? All big questions here. Of course, we don't need to worry at all about other people's drops, since we can't pick up anybody else's drops, even if they did drop things. So that's not a huge deal for us. But at least now people can't snipe the things you're fighting. Just pick up their drops before you can. Hey, I imagine that had some griefing going on. People just standing around waiting for you to get done with the fighting. Not that there's a lot of things that drop, expensive things that you need to worry about that with quite yet, but still, it would be nice to not have that happen. And this solves that, which is good. And then we move forward just a couple more days to May 3rd, 2001, which introduced the ability to right and left click on things. Previously, it was all what would be later known as one button gameplay. Presumably everything was either no right click to have no menu, or you would just have to click on anything and hope you, if you want to walk here, you have to be careful because you might be clicking on the guard. So being able to right and left click things, pretty convenient. More precise clicking and dealing with stacks of things, not clicking on things you don't want to. Sounds like a good update to me. Again, we have already been right and left clicking things. You really wouldn't think that would have been an update, but here it is. Wild. And now we get to the big update for today. And also the one we have to settle in on here because of a new quest. On May 8th, 2001. I'm going to go through what we all get here. But first, I'm going to do some mining and smithing. And to do that, we don't need these pies anymore. All that time making these meat pies, that's okay. Because they're not going to be useful by the next update anyways. So, pies, you served your purpose. Because we need space for a hammer. And all the geodes that we need to deal with. We are still doing the steel mining and smithing here. From the Dwarven Mine to Falador, back to the Dwarven Mine, via Ice Mountain. So I'm going to do some mining and smithing. Not because I need to, but because I have some time here to quote-unquote AFK, not really AFK, with the stamina from mining and having to run back and forth to everywhere. But the RuneScape AFK, which means not having to click every tick or whatever. We can pay limited attention here. So that's fine. And we will see what we get up to here. How long I want to mine and smith here before we actually get into the update proper. 42 mining. That is a requirement for a mini quest, but no actual unlocks. So technically, there's an unlock there. Technically. But actually, nothing for us, obviously. And there is 44 smithing. Once the mining and smithing rework comes out, we will be able to heat adamant 66% faster. Although, we're actually going to be smithing it, heating at the maximum speed, so irrelevant in all cases. But what we actually get is nothing. Is what I would have said if this update did not bring out the smithing rework. Now this is just the smithing rework. The mining rework is later, and the mining and smithing rework is much later. But what this did was change most of the level requirements for smithing to be much, much nicer. No longer will the steel plate body take 99 smithing, or the iron one 64. Now it's a more gradual increase, and everything just makes a bit more sense. No massive boost to the amount of bars required for multi-bar items. Instead, it just goes right down the list, higher levels for each new item, for the most part. And that means we have some new unlocks available to us. We can now smith iron plate bodies, steel longswords, steel full helmets, steel square shields, steel chain bodies, steel kite shields, and level 44 got us steel two-handed swords. So we almost have full steel available now, which is pretty cool. Can't wield it yet, but that's alright. 2 more levels, we'll be able to make the plate legs, and that would complete the steel set, basically. Because, technically, we can already make the chain body, and that is just as good as the plate body these days. But yeah. This also continues on to mithril and adamant in a more reasonable fashion. There was very little information about the level requirements for mithril and adamant before this rework. We can assume they were ridiculous. Although the first couple items might have still been fairly normal, comparatively. Pretty much everything up to scimitars might have been fine still, because of the weird multiplication of the levels. But with that said, pretty much everything higher level in adamant and most mithril things were probably level 99, and now they are 50s to 80s, which is definitely better. Although, still getting into the 80s with us getting, like, what, 5,000 XP per hour? A bit of a tall order. But you never know. It depends how much mining and smithing AFK we do. So, here we are. We can now use the updated smithing tables. Delightful. 43 mining. That is diamonds from precious gem rocks in both locations that they are, apparently. And 5% better critical swings, which I think is technically the only thing that is helping us. I guess more critical swings is actually slightly faster mining, and more stamina will be slightly more AFK mining. But for the most part, everything's pretty much the same here. Yeah, a little bit better. A little bit better. Well, there's a rarity. We got a smithing level from the smelting portion, which gives 3 experience per bar. That is level 45. As a quest requirement, heat cap of adamant raised. And hilariously enough, right when we were talking about how the new smithing table gives you so many new things, there's nothing at level 45. There's things at most levels. There's things at most levels. It's fine. Don't stab me. Yeah, 45 smithing. There is something. Well, there's nothing, but still. 44 mining. That gets us 5% better critical swings. All these small 5% boosts to critical swings, they're just going to keep stacking up on top of each other. Wild. And there is 46 smithing. That is smelting adamant bars 25% faster. But actually, and far more importantly, for us, steel plate legs. So that means whenever we get around to getting 20 defense, we can just go and make a full set of steel armor. So that'll be nice. Moving forwards in the smithing skill, the next real unlock is at 50 for mithril daggers, because 48 for the steel plate body, that has the same stats as the chain. So as we continue to get higher and higher levels here, it gets more and more experience, obviously. So if we wanted to get to, say, a full mithril, that'd be another 20 levels, which is, it's a lot. No. Exactly how far we get with smithing here really depends on how much more we want to do this. We are going to have more options for stuff we can train pretty soon here. But mining and smithing, generally working out so far. We're going to do just a little bit more, then we can move on to other things. And the other things in question are the other things added to a different skill. We have the smithing rework. I guess this is less of a crafting rework as much as it is a crafting update in general. Although there is going to be crafting reworks related to this, but we will get into that momentarily. There are actually 2 different bits of the crafting update here. First up, we've got clay. Now, we can actually do something with all that wet clay that we can get. So that's nice. This clay mine does not exist. So, for reference, we should be mining this in the Rework Southwest mine. But the travel distance between everything evens out with what it would have been, so this is as close as we're going to get to an accurate clay mine, unfortunately. But what we can do here is mine up a whole bunch of clay. Clay is very easy to mine, always has been. And with 44 mining, really, really simple to do. We're going to grab ourselves a bunch of clay here and head over to Rework, because we need to get the clay wet in order to actually do anything with it here. And for that, we need water source, buckets, all that jazz. And the first thing in that combination is the buckets. So we're headed to the general store, where once again we are slightly bothered with the number in stock. There's only 2 buckets available in RuneScape Classic, so we will do what we can with that. And what we can do with that is get 2 buckets of water at the same time, and then make 2 bits of clay, and then get 2 more buckets of water and then make 2 bits of clay. Interestingly enough, if we are standing next to a water source, we can actually make all the clay, which is pretty wild. Really simplifies that system, doesn't it? So, in essence, if we want to be more accurate here, we need to take 2 steps away from a water source every time we fill a bucket in order for it to not do all the clay at once. It's awkward, to say the least. We can fill the fountain right onto the clay. Would be pretty convenient. We will see if we bother to do this like this. It'd be less awkward if it just let me use the buckets on the clay without just knowing that I want to make soft clay and letting me use the fountain anyways. I don't know if I can really be bothered to walk back and forth like this every time. I guess it depends on how much crafting via clay we end up doing. Also, it's giving token experience. A lot of things give token experience these days. Very strange. Like, 1 crafting experience it's not exactly rocking the boat here, but sure. I guess I'll take it. In the most literal sense, I don't have a choice but to take it. And it's better to get 1 crafting experience for making some soft clay than it is to get agility experience for going to the sheep, I guess. And speaking of the sheep, balls of wool may not have given crafting experience until now. Got some very slightly cryptic ancient texts that I'm working with here. Apparently, sheep shearer got you to 2 crafting originally. Also, the experience curve in RuneScape Classic is also different, so the experience might be has still been the same. But it didn't seem like balls of wool were giving more. So, well, to be fair, we did a lot of balls of wool to get our crafting up a little bit, though. So, possibly, that would only now give crafting experience, which is definitely interesting. And another interesting thing is how this is going to work. If we go to mold here for the pottery, which has been added, we've got some options. But for the start here, we only have pots at level 1 and pie dishes at level 3, and then 4, and now 7. Unlike the smithing rework, the crafting reworks that happened sporadically over the next couple months, and then apparently even after that, actually made a lot of things more difficult than they were originally put in. Bowls don't exist yet, so we don't need to worry about that. But we can still just do pie dishes. Also, the experience was changed all over the place. Pie dishes were lower experience, and then they changed to the experience they are now. All these just little tweaks way back in the start here. But we can make these pie dishes at any rate. So that's nice. Is this all in the chat here? Do we have our chat filtered? Filtered. There we go. It still has the buckets of water, though. That's alright. We're making pie dishes, and that got us 9 crafting. And also got 10 crafting. Honestly, that's pretty good. Even if we are getting twice the experience it theoretically should be giving. And also we had additional experience that we really were not due from Gunner's Ground, or whatever that quest is called. I think it's on the list here. I don't know. Anyways, 10 crafting is what we have now. So that unlocked a bunch of things here. 9 was proto-leather body in Daemonheim. 10 is Wildcrest gloves in Daemonheim, imp-hide gloves, toy horsies, spin sinew into crossbow strings, and the milestone cape level 10. None of those things exist. Don't need to worry about that quite yet. Instead, no, that is the metal bank. We're going to use the pottery oven to make some pie dishes here. The firing experience was less, and now it's more. And I think we do still have a chance to break this pottery as we go here. As for what we're going to be doing with these pie dishes, probably drop them on the ground. They're not worth anything. And we're absolutely not going to put anything in these pie dishes. We have learned our lesson there. Easily. But still, pretty decent crafting experience, I'd say. Not bad at all. And depending how things go with the other side of the crafting update here, this might be what we have to do. Signs are pointing to problems with the second bit here. But we will get to that when we get to that here. That's okay. Instead, I'm just going to finish making these pie dishes and get 11 crafting. Delightful. Look at that. Very good. Got a bunch of new things that we can't really make because they don't exist. But that's okay. 11 crafting. As the leather vambraces, wooden pyre ships, Acupyre ships, sub-leather vambraces, imp-hide boots, and the lapis ring. Nope. None of those. None of those exist. So we're going to start dropping all these pie dishes as we run. And get over to relevant locations for the second bit of the crafting update. Anybody who comes across this stream of pie dishes is going to be perplexed. Not exactly a popular training activity these days. So let's get back to Falador, after getting stabbed a little bit, of course, where we can get to a relevant location. The second half, or honestly way more than half, the vast majority of the crafting update has to do with jewelry. We got gold, sapphire, emerald, ruby, and diamond, rings, necklaces, and amulets. So everything from very low level with gold all the way up to very high level diamond amulet. Interestingly enough, lots of these levels were also changed. So technically at this point, we should be allowed to make quite a few things. Bits of sapphire jewelry, cutting sapphires, but nope, not allowed. The levels were changed multiple times in this case. For example, just cutting gems went from quite low level to even lower level for sapphires and emeralds, and then massively bumped up in the final iteration, with the experience also changing a bit. Very strangely, the updated high-level requirements for cutting gems actually ended up making it more difficult to cut the gems than make the jewelry. So you needed 20 crafting to cut a sapphire, but then level 8 crafting to make a sapphire ring. Wild. But getting gems is going to be a problem. So we're probably going to be doing mostly gold here. Originally, gold required the same crafting levels as the sapphire counterparts. So 8, 10, and 13. But then was changed downwards to 5, 6, and 8. Just to make it more space used in the crafting skill, I suppose. And that's okay. Lower level requirements for lower level doing stuff. So that's okay. We have plenty of crafting level here to be able to make the best bit there, which would be the amulets. So that's probably what we're going to do when we get there. The problem, of course, is going to be any gem-related things. Obviously, getting gems, making jewelry out of them, would be way more experience, way more profitable, but also way higher level, so, Especially since the crafting requirements for the actual jewelry has also been updated since. For sapphire, it was 8, 10, 13, with the gem at 20. But for us to actually do that in the game today, it's now 20, 22, 24. So, we don't get that nice of an option here. All of this, of course, assuming that we could even get the gems. Because, my goodness, is that a bit of an ask. This update included getting gems from mining. and seemingly slightly bugged getting gems from monster drops, but that was the intention. So there's technically many ways we could go get some sapphires once we have 20 crafting. But the numbers are not favorable for us. Based on what I could find, the chances of getting a gem at the start here, one person estimated it at 1 in 282, which seems to be roughly half of the chance of getting a gem based in the vastly better documented old school RuneScape current setup of roughly 1 in 565. It's possible that that 1 in 282 calculation counted the 50% chance or so of not getting the gem instead of getting something. So I think that the current old school numbers should be accurate enough for our purposes. What that means is probability of getting gems while mining is on a per ore basis. 1 in 1,000 for a sapphire, 1 in 2,000 for an emerald, 1 in 4,000 for a ruby, and 1 in 16,000 for a diamond. Now, that is a lot. And it also means that we're probably not going to be getting very many gems from mining. We're going to deal with the rare drop table. And if we can figure out if that has changed substantially with the many reworks to that. The base gem drop table seems pretty similar to how it used to be. So we might be able to get away with just, if we get a gem as a drop, it's probably correct. But then we would also have to fight things that aren't chickens, so it's a process here, for sure. The one way that we could get gems from mining is these geodes. Unfortunately, they are so much more common than the old gems from mining. With the varying buffs to geode chance, it's typically about 15% chance per ore to get a sedimentary geode here from these lower level rocks. So that's basically 1 in 6.66666 repeating. And then from each of these geodes, there is a reasonable chance of getting sapphire, emerald, ruby, and diamond. When all things considered, the chances of a sapphire is roughly 1 in 133, emerald is 1 in 267, ruby is 1 in 444, and diamond is 1 in 667. So ultimately, that means that the basic gems from mining are from 8 to 24 times more common than they used to be. And in total, we would need roughly 85 geodes to be on drop rate for a singular gem. We have like half of them here. So instead of getting all of these, let's see if we even get anything good in here. There's a few things. I got a little unlucky here. There's also all these opals and jades and red topazes that aren't even accurate here. So basically, if we are mining a whole bunch and end up with 85 geodes, we can open them until we get one of the accurate gems, and then we can have that gem as the gem that we got. In theory, we should have gotten like 4, but we got 2. Math might be wrong, but in general, we are not going to be getting very many from mining whatsoever. So, not going to really worry about that right now. Maybe once the jewelry is actually useful, we will consider trying to get thousands and thousands of geodes to play with. And we also have to consider that we only have one inventory space, that we're saving for a gem here, technically. So we could get up to 85 geodes, open them until we get one, keep that, drop the rest of them. That'd be the most reasonable way to get ourselves gems from mining. And that's basically how that's going to be. A lot of opals and jades thrown on the ground. But it's also a lot of mining to get there. Like 565 ores worth. And that's also depending on the ores that we're mining. But some of them are gonna get slower here. Anyways, in order to do all of this jewelry making, 3 shops were added. First up, we have Herquin here and his gem shop. Now you might notice there's nothing in this shop whatsoever. And that is completely accurate for the day of release here. No gems sold. Just a place to sell the gems to, and to encourage people to want to cut the gems, because look how much they are worth. Be worth more cut, clearly. Eventually, in the next month or so, at some point, a singular uncut sapphire and cut sapphire are added to the store. But then those were taken away again at some point. So we could theoretically sell some gems to him here if we wanted to. Assuming that we get to that point before we can use the gems ourselves. Because it would definitely be more useful to make the jewelry, get the experience, possibly even make use of the jewelry if it's something useful. Right. One thing at a time here. Assuming we can get a gem, and assuming we make it into jewelry, we don't really have a whole bunch of space to put a bunch of jewelry anywhere. So what we would want to do with it at that point would be selling it. Depending on location, and also depending on, I don't think specialty shops even really matter at this point, we would come to Grum, down here in Port Sarim, where he will buy gold to diamond, rings, necklaces, amulets, for what looks like close to the correct prices. Also bracelets, those aren't a thing yet. That's okay. 350, 900. Maybe not. No emerald, ruby, or diamond amulets for some reason. Interesting. That is things that are added later to this shop. Interesting. Very cool. Again, there is no actual stock ever in this shop. It's just an option for selling your jewelry. So that's nice. That's nice of him. But before we can sell the jewelry, we need to make the jewelry. And that requires some molds, which we can get over here in Remington at Ramik's Crafty Supplies. Hello, Ramik. He's got a few extra molds in here that you shouldn't have yet. and a few other crafting bits that also don't exist just yet. What we're really interested in here is chisels, which also exist in other places now, which is nice of them. And the ring, necklace, and amulet molds. I'm going to take an amulet mold. So that's nice. And now, we need some gold, which we do, in fact, have the mining and smithing level to work with. And there is one here in the Remington mine. So we can work with it right here. Based on this mine working and the Faldor furnace and the jewelry shop that actually buys the jewelry for what we realistically should be able to sell the jewelry to people for being here, I think would be in our best interest and most accurate playing of us to make our jewelry over here. We'd probably get the same of everything, even faster, in Al-Qarid. Since there is gold there, and a closer furnace, and a general store. But it all comes down to this right here. We've got 44 mining and a bronze pickaxe against level 40 gold ore. How bad is this going to be? You need a higher level pickaxe to effectively mine this resource. Lower level mine nodes, so you're getting reduced rates. Oh, the rates are reduced. Oh, look how reduced the rates are. We're barely scratching it. A critical swing made no progress. Oh, this is terrible. This is truly unviable in any way, shape, or form. I was looking at the mining calculator for the mining and smithing rework, and it said devastatingly low amounts of gold per hour. And I agree. This is pretty bad. I think the problem here comes down to the gold rock's hardness, or toughness, or whatever they're calling it. It is very, very bad. We need a higher level pickaxe to mine this resource, and that is abundantly clear to me now. So, mining gold and making things is not a thing we can do. Not even a little bit. I think it's the hardness factor that's a problem. We were getting away with it when it was 15 at coal, but here it is much worse. So much worse. The hardness is 50, and our bronze pickaxe has a penetration of 0. So, not exactly sure how it was actually working fine against coal with 15. I guess that was just enough that we were overcoming it with strength or something. I'm not sure exactly how this all works. It works really well when you're maxed, I'll tell you that much. But yeah, a bronze pickaxe. It's not good. Our damage is really bad against this ore. So we were going to get, I believe, I calculated like 6 per hour or something terrible. Are we even doing worse when our stamina's low? Do we even have stamina here? Is that even a thing? I guess it goes down when we actually hit it. And it's really spamming us with messages that this is not good. And I agree with these messages. This is not good. Oh boy. Yeah, our penetration against the rock hardness is abysmal. Insufficient. It's less than the hardness of the rock. Also, the experience is really bad. So everything about this is completely terrible. In every way, shape, and form. Makes me even more excited for the mining rework, which unfortunately does not happen until 2003. So it's technically possible for us to get some gold in the most generous of senses. But until 2003, it's going to take this much time. And that is very, very bad. Hopefully, everything's going to be okay until we get there. Hopefully we don't need to mine too many pieces of gold or higher. It's unlikely. It's really unlikely we're going to need to worry about that. When is that one quest where you need to mine some gold? That is in 2002. Okay. That's going to be a problem, probably. Family crest. But it's perfect gold. Maybe perfect gold is fine. Please. Please just be fine. Perfect gold ore. Hardness 0. Thank goodness. Problem averted. Crisis contained. We're going to need to mine 2 pieces of gold in the future, and it's going to be okay. They've got plenty of durability, but we can overcome that easily enough. And this also very much kills any idea of mining higher level ores. I'm just gonna go try mining a mithril, just to see how bad it would be. That is level 30. Adamantite here has the same 50 hardness as gold, so it's not going to work at all. The question is, would we even be able to get a mithril ore? Assuming that we get our mining up to 50 here, we're within striking distance of being able to get mithril. But if we cannot mine mithril at the same way we can't mine gold here, that would not work at all. I was already basically discounting mithril as a smithing training method just because of the inauthenticity of the whole thing. But if it's going to be this bad, it's even more off. Where can we go mine a piece of mithril here? Just to check. I would give it a good swing, see if we get spammed by messages that say you should really stop. It's in the Rework mines and the Dwarven mine. Okay. See if we make our way back over there. I'm gonna make a gold ring actually, just to commemorate this absolute disaster. This is in no way a crafting training method or a money making method or good at all. Definitely did not expect anyone to do this when they made the mining and smithing rework. That much is abundantly clear. This is wild. We're almost done mining our first gold ore. Bizarre. Wild. And actually the mithril in the Dwarven mine is not accessible, so we'll need to go to Rework, which is not accurate whatsoever. But if we can't even mine mithril, I guess it's not a problem. Not gonna worry about that right now. Not gonna worry about that. So this has effectively killed the idea of making any jewelry for ourselves until 2003. That's okay. Drop the amulet mold. We get a ring mold. So I guess that means our crafting training method is back to clay. Which, my goodness, can I not express enough joy of how much easier that was to mine clay. It's really nice. It's really nice that you can just mine clay. Authentic, good times, my goodness. Alright, the singular piece of gold gets to be a ring, and I'm going to wear the ring. Because there's no rings that are of any benefit whatsoever here for us. So, that's fine. Also, in RuneScape Classic, rings aren't even wieldable. And they're not enchantable either. You can sell rings, and that's all they're good for. But we can wield a ring right here. It's not going to help us in the slightest. That's okay. We're going to get a small amount of smithing and crafting experience here. And that's going to be the end of that story. Smelt 1 gold bar for 7 XP. Yay. Smelting XP, also not good. Then we go in here, we'll make a gold ring. We get 15 crafting experience for our efforts. Fantastic. We're gonna wear it, because why not? My goodness. What a time. And with that, absolute marathon in order to get a single piece of gold. We're gonna go get another piece of gold as a reward from the quest that was released. The quest in question, Goblin Diplomacy. We got a few things we need to get together for the quest requirements here, for the required items. So we will go and get that. And by that I mean, we're immediately going to run over here and talk to Wyson to buy some woad leaves. Woad leaves are a thing now. And we can specify how many we want for 25 coins each. Rip off. Far too expensive. I need 2. Not spam in a number here and spend all my money. Just 2. Thanks. And speaking of money, we can take the 11,000 coins we made mining smithing earlier, withdraw that, and get our cash stack up to 44,502, which is pretty good. Pretty good. Alright. A few more things we need to get, like stabbed by this guy, over in Rework. So, I guess we can go test the mithril when we're there. 3 red berries. Here from the red berry bushes. And we are right next to the mithril here. So we're going to try. If we can mine it remotely okay, we could theoretically make ourselves some mithril at some point. It's lower level, so XP is reduced, but we're definitely mining it. So we can easily do mithril. So that's good. We can make ourselves some mithril stuff if we continue mining and smithing. So that's okay. Not adamant though. That's not going to ever happen. But that would also require us getting 70 smithing at 5,000 XP an hour, so probably wasn't going to happen either way anyways, so that's okay. Down to Lumbridge for the last items that we need. Grabbing 2 onions from Fred's farm here. And the last bits we need are goblin mails, which we're going to get from goblins. Later on, goblin mail is available in crates in Goblin Village. But for right now, we actually need to fight goblins. And we do have options here. The lower level goblins over here near Lumbridge and a few other places. Drop goblin mail for us at a slightly lower rate than the ones in Goblin Village, but they're also weaker, so it's probably worth it. Yeah, we can just stab them. Grab some coins and bones, and various other things that they actually do drop. But what we're really after is the goblin mail. We can pick up some bits, mostly coins. So we will see what we end up in a pile here. And there's 13 defense. Oh, we're gonna get a lot of levels here too. That's alright. Nothing at 13. How much XP are these given? 34? Is that like basically the same as chickens? They got twice as much HP. Don't drop meat. Options, I suppose. 14 strength. And goblin mail. Got it right up here. Might not actually take as long as expected. And 14 strength is dismember, which is evolution of combat. Not out yet. Are we even gonna worry about any other drops here? Was that the... oh, there's another goblin mail. Is that the correct salvage, I wonder? Small plated bronze? Could be. I was going to run around stabbing, picking up stuff. We can stab and bury bones. That's good. We just need 3 goblin mail in total here. So, shouldn't be too difficult to accomplish. We're just running around one-hitting them constantly. That seems to be working pretty well in my opinion. And we can pick up a couple coins. Why not? There's 14 defense. Amazing. That's nothing. And that's okay. Got another small plated. Let's make sure that this is actually the correct bit of goblin mail here. Or the correct replacement. There is another bit of bronze equipment that was removed later. Let's see, these are goblins. And they have goblin related drops from the goblins. Goblin, 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 goblin. We're looking for one that's roughly equivalent with the original drop right here. So the bronze square shield was 3 out of 128. And the salvage with that value is small plated bronze. So these are the right ones. So we can keep these. Amazing. Not many things here we could keep, so I will take it. There seems to be a lot more different kinds of salvage on here with different drop rates. The goblins had a lot of different drops throughout the years, I suppose. We also got 15 strength. That is catching a leaping trout. Except it's not. For us, at least. That's okay. But here we get some actual salvage, which we can do something with. And what we can do with it is sell it to a store. Or alch it, once alching is a thing. For 20 coins. That's about right. There you go. 40 more coins for me. Our total goblin profits was 92. Not exactly crazy. If we want to make any money from combat, it's going to be a process, that's for sure. But not the current problem. Not the current problem. We've got what we need here for a goblin diplomacy. almost. We almost do. We've got all these ingredients, but we need to turn these into dyes. Over here in Drainer Village with Aggie. One of each color that she sells now, because blue dyes are a thing. Possibly were a thing with the Asgarni update, but they are definitely a thing at this point because they are required for the quest that was released. So there you go. Nope. Maybe not. It definitely exists now, and I guess that's what's important. I need a red dye. There you go. I need a blue dye and a yellow dye. Delightful. And now we can use the red dye on the yellow dye to make an orange dye. Perfect. Get stamped again. We're alright. We're alright. And now we need to just pop on over to Goblin Village. But first, we should really talk to the bartender in Port Sarim. Goblin diplomacy was slightly reworked. Mostly just parts of the quest and how you start it. Not enough to really warrant time traveling here. But before the update in 2006, the quest started at the bartender here. Good day to you. Hello there. Bye then. Come back soon. He had a whole dialogue here talking about if he's heard any rumors. And he has heard a rumor from somewhere or something about some goblins and the whole mess that they're in, fighting about the color of their armor in their village. And this prompts you to go to Goblin Village and check it out. It was more of a RPG kind of style, hear a rumor in a tavern, go check it out kind of business. Not quite direct. So it's changed. Just a very unrelated bit you had to do before the quest, when you could wander into Goblin Village and see them all fighting and want to check out what's going on. But if you didn't talk to one guy in Port Sarim, you weren't allowed to do anything. So that's pretty wild. So we actually need to go start the quest up in Goblin Village, where it's also slightly reworked. Interestingly, don't really have as much footage. Could possibly find the old 2006 Goblin Village somewhere, but I don't have the quickest access to that, because even in old school RuneScape, this quest rework already happened. Well, most of the other ones were heading off to the 2010s, but this one was in 2006. Things change through the years in many, many different years. Here we are in Goblin Village. We got red armor goblins fighting green armor goblins. It's all a bit of a mess. So we head straight to the generals here. We got General Wartface and General Bent Nose. We should wear green armor. Green armor? Are you stupid? You stupid. Only stupid goblins think red armor better. No, they don't. Me think red armor better. That because you stupid. Me not stupid. Then why you not like green armor? Because red armor better. Only stupid goblins think that? You're stupid. And this is the situation we're finding ourselves in here. Why are you arguing about the color of your armor? We decided to celebrate Goblin New Century by changing color of our armor. Brown get boring after a bit. We want change. Problem is, they want different change to us. Wouldn't you prefer peace? Yeah, peace is good, as long as it is peace wearing green armor. But green too much like skin, nearly make you look naked. Do you want me to pick an armor color for you? Just trying to mediate here a little bit. Yes, as long as you pick green. No, you have to pick red. How about a different color? Since you're obviously never going to agree. Start Goblin Diplomacy. Accept. Not green or red. That would mean me wrong, but at least Wartface not right. Me to know. What'd that look like? Have to see armor before we decide. Human, you bring us armor in new color. What color we try? Orange armor might be good. Yep, bring us orange armor. And that is easily accomplishable with these goblin mails and our orange dye. There you go. Orange armor. Also included in the 2006 rework, there are some crates around the village, just behind places and around, where you can get your 3 goblin mail without having to fight all the goblins. So, that's nice. And the last bit that was changed in 2006, you don't just bring the armor back and they talk about it and you continue on. We actually get a little bit extra. They're still arguing. We should wear green armor. Green armor, you stupid? You're stupid. Ah! Are you happy? I have some orange armor here. Should have interrupted them sooner. And we get a cutscene with Grubfoot, a smaller goblin, hanging out here, answering to the generals. Grubfoot. Yes, General Wartface, sir. Put on this armor. Grubfoot goes into the changing room. Curtain. You wouldn't want to watch a goblin getting changed. What do you think? No, I don't like that much. It clashes with skin color. We need darker color, like blue. Yeah, blue might be good. Human, get us blue armor. All that instead of just a dialogue. Very nice. Blue goblin armor. I tell all goblins in village to wear green armor now. They not listen to you. I already tell them to wear red armor. They listen to me, not you. They know me, bigger general. Me, bigger general, they listen to me. Human, what color armor are they wearing out there? Half of them are wearing red, and half of them green. Shut up, human. They're wearing green armor, really. Human lying because he's scared of you. Human's scared of me, not you. Then you think me bigger general. What? Me mean... Shut up. Me bigger general. I've got the blue armor. Here we go. Grubfoot. Yes, General Wartface, sir. Put on this armor. Back in the changing room. And he comes back. What do you think? That not right. Not goblin color at all. Goblins wear dark, earthy colors, like brown. Yeah, brown might be good. Human, get us brown armor. I thought that was the armor you were changing from. Never mind. Anything's worth a try. This quest could also be very much extended if you don't already have all the things. Having to walk to Varrock and Falador and Draenor Village. Quite the trip if you're not prepared. They're back to arguing about the armor, but I already have the brown armor. So here we are. Grubfoot. Yes, General Wetface there. Put on this armor. Into the changing room. One final time. And brown armor. What do you think? That color quite nice. Me can see myself wearing that. In a deal then. Brown armor it is. Thank you for sorting out our argument. Take this gold bar as a reward. And we get our reward. 5 quest points. 200 crafting speed lamp. And a gold bar. Brilliant. The 5 quest points and gold bar are perfectly accurate. Love to see it. But the XP lamp is not quite the same. It's going to give 200 crafting experience. And we are doing the whole business with the RuneScape Classic experience. To get 200 experience, they're expecting you to be level 5 crafting. But we are level 11 for a variety of reasons. So, level 5 still perfectly fine. But since we are level 11, it would theoretically give 290 experience. That's okay. 200 crafting is still pretty good. And that gets us to level 12. Amazing. That is a whole bunch of things. A quest requirement, fungal leggings, fragile cooking urns, oil lamps, boulder crest shoes, impide hoods, and limestone bricks. Nope, none of those exist yet. Eventually we will unlock things that exist in some of these skills, but not yet. Also, should have kept my molds with me. Would have been a good idea. Save me a trip here. But since we have a gold bar here, and we don't need another ring, I think we'll make a gold amulet. Because why not? Be a little bit more valuable selling to the store. Although they also require them to be string. I would need to string the amulet for that. So, maybe not. That is the one problem with amulets here. The stringing actually doesn't give any crafting experience either, unfortunately. So I think we're just going to sell it to the general store in Falador here. That'll be fine. And then we will basically ignore jewelry until 2003. If we get our crafting level high enough from other methods, we could mine a singular gold, make something. We would also need a gem. That also does kind of reduce the value of gems here too, if we can't get any gold to put the gems into. That's unfortunate. Of course, we're not really going to be getting all that many gems anyway, so it's probably fine. Everything's fine. Working with the constraints that we have put on ourselves here. Even if we should be able to mine gold. We really should. I still don't imagine mining gold was a nice process at this point. But just the way that mining worked, it would probably have still been fine. Let's make the gold amulet. Perfect. We can drop that. And we'll sell it to the general store. In the corner here? There you are. We can sell it for 105. That's something. Not the best either way. Only 105? Oh well. We make roughly that from each steel item we make. But that does require mining 4 ores and then doing the smithing process. So if we could actually mine the gold, it'd probably be better money, but we don't need to worry about that because it's not an option. Oh well. But there you go. Another quest done. Only one quest released today, so we can continue moving on to even more reworks and updates. All sorts of good stuff. And even getting rid of some things. Next time. Goodbye.